Good morning, everyone. Today's topic is primary and secondary immune response. Okay, we you have already I taught you already the primary immune response, how it happens, the immune response. I will just give you an idea about the primary response once again. So whenever an antigen enters into the body, a foreign particle enters into the body, what happens to the foreign particle? That will be trapped by the phagocytic cell. What is the phagocytic cell? Macrophages. Macrophages will trap the antigen, and a process will happen. What is that process called as? Phagocytosis. So once after the phagocytosis process, the antigen processing and presentation happens, and finally this big antigen that will be undergoing a processing mechanism. What is that processing mechanism? Phagocytosis, wherein phagosome fuses with the lysosome, digestion happens, and this large protein that will be degraded into a small peptide. Once after degrading into the peptide, within the macrophage itself, it will assemble with a protein receptor called as the MHC. What is MHC? Major histocompatibility complex presentation happens. Once the presentation is done, this is going to be identified by which the cell? T helper cells. So T helper cell, it has a receptor called as TCR, and along with that it has one more accessory receptor called as CD4. They will identify it and they start secreting a compound called as cytokines. Now what is the function of the cytokines? Cytokines will activate the B cell, and the B cell differentiate into plasma cell, and another one is known as the memory cell. This is known as the primary immune response. All of you are clear with that, because I told you so many times. All are clear with that. If any doubts are there, you can ask me at any time. Antigen trapping by the macrophages, phagocytosis process, presentation, and then it will be identified by the T helper cell with the help of two receptors. Cytokine secretion, cytokines will activate the B cell and the memory cell. Okay, this is happening. This entire process will happen in the case of T dependent antigens. What do you mean by T dependent antigen? This antigen which is undergoing processing and presentation under in the macrophages by phagocytosis and presentation, and then that is going to be identified by T cell, which is called as the T helper cell. Okay, T helper cell is involved in the activation of the B cell. Thereby, this kind of antigens are called as the T dependent antigen. There is one more type of antigen that is known as the T independent antigen, wherein they don't want all these processes. Directly, they will be identified by the BCR. What is BCR? B cell receptor. So this is a B cell. B cell, it has a receptor called as BCR. Some of the antigens that will be directly identified by the B cell receptor. Once after identifying it, B cell differentiate into plasma cell and the memory cell. Clear? Okay, there are two types of antigens, depends on the processing and presentation. Some of them are T dependent, wherein they have to undergo antigen processing and presentation. Then it will be identified by the T helper. The cytokine which is secreted by the T helper is needed for the activation of B cell. Okay, the T helper cell that is needed for the activation of the B cell to plasma cell and the memory cell. What is the second type of antigen called as T independent antigen? What will happen in the case of T independent antigen? They are not at all depending on the T helper cell. Then how do they identify it? The receptor which is present on the B cell receptor will identify the antigen directly. Once after the identification, a signaling mechanism happens. Mitosis will be activated. Thereby the B cell differentiate into plasma and the memory cell. Clear? I think all are clear with that. Okay, so two antigens are there, T dependent antigen and T independent antigen. T dependent antigen need the help of T helper cell, whereas T independent antigen directly it will be binding to the B cell. Whatever is the case, whether it is T dependent or T independent, there is a formation of the memory cell. So the entire process of identification and the activation of the plasma cell and memory cell, it will take a long time period, that is 7 to 14 days of time period. More than 1 week, 1 to 2 weeks of time period is required for the formation of for the production of antibodies by the plasma cell. So once after the infection, whatever infection happens in the body, once after the infection, for the antibody production to happen within the body, it will take 7 to 14 days of time period. This is known as the primary immune response. Secondary immune response is exclusively due to memory cells. Okay, so you have to write few points about the memory cell. I'll just tell you, you need to write it, because in the syllabus there is another topic which is given, a separate topic is given as the memory cell. So they may ask in the section A part or B part, they can ask. So if they ask a memory cell in the B part, you have to write all these processes and then write about the memory cell. You write about memory cell. Memory cells are antigen specific B or T cell. In the case of B cell and in the case of T cell, after the activation, memory cells will be formed, memory B cell and memory T cells. So antigen specific B and T cell which remember the previous exposure to antigen. Okay, so the cells which can remember the previous exposure to the antigen is known as the memory cell. Okay, memory cell is an antigen specific B or T cell that does not differentiate into effector during primary response. So primary response time, memory cells will be formed and they will be retained in the body. They don't undergo differentiation. They will be there in the body. But when you have the same antigen exposure for the second time, okay, during that time it can immediately become effector and memory cells. Okay, what is the fate of this memory cell? Whenever you get the antigen exposure, this is the first exposure. Second time when you are getting the same antigen exposure, the memory cell receptor will identify the antigen directly and memory cell differentiate into one plasma cell, another one into memory cell. Again plasma cell differentiate into many plasma cell, memory cell differentiate into one plasma cell and one memory cell, and thereby memory cell number will be maintained. During the primary response, memory cells do not respond to antigen and do not contribute to host defense. This always you have to remember. During primary response, memory cells don't have any action, or they'll be just formed and retained there. Memory cells do not respond to the antigen, do not contribute to the host defense, because 7 to 14 days of time period, so much of antibodies will be produced and the antigen would have got neutralized. Okay, so as infection is cleared and pathogen stimuli subsided, thereby memory cells will not be doing any function during the primary immune response. Now immunological memory will get activated during the second exposure. So as soon as you get the second exposure, memory cell differentiate into plasma cell and the memory cells. Okay, so they specifically recognize an antigen and the antigen that body has previously encountered and initiate a corresponding immune response. And this particular function or this particular mechanism or the formation of the memory cell provided a platform for the development of vaccine. So vaccine development, they started doing the vaccine development because of the formation of this memory cell. Clear? So whatever points I told you now, you need to write it, because that is very very important. If they ask in the section B part, you need to make the diagram and then write about the memory cell. So memory cells are antigen specific B or T cell that does not differentiate into effector during primary response, but it can immediately become effector during the second exposure with the same antigen. During primary response, they do not respond to antigen and they do not contribute to the host defense, whereas when your body is exposed to the same antigen for the second time, whether it is after 1 week or 1 month or 1 year or after 10 years or after 40 years also, memory cells will be there in the body. Your body will memory cells will directly identify them and they undergo differentiation into plasma and the memory cell. So this is what happens in the case of antigen exposure. So in this particular graph, this is the x-axis, it is time, and the y-axis it is antibody concentration. And you can see here the red color arrow indicates the first exposure to an antigen. So whenever an antigen is, your body is exposed to an antigen, you can see that till 7th day also you cannot see the antibody. Sometimes within 4 days or sometime the antibody titer or the concentration of antibody will be there in the serum in a very minute concentration. But this entire time period is known as the lag period. What is that period known as? You remember bacterial growth curve. Bacterial growth curve also, the similar kind of mechanism is there, wherein the first when you inoculate the bacteria into the culture media, it will take little time for the bacteria to adjust with the media. So that period is known as the lag period. Lag period is also called as the latent period. What is the other name for lag period? Latent period. During this particular process, the antigen will enter and all this process, whatever I have told you now, the B cell differentiation, formation of plasma cell and memory cell, and many plasma cells will be formed during this 7 days of time period. That process is called as the clonal expansion. What is happening here during this till the lag period? A process happens which is known as the clonal expansion. What do you mean by clone? Similar copy of the plasma cell. Many cells will be formed, thereby antibody production process starts. And within 14 days of time period, you can see that there will be a peak in antibody production. Very high level of antibody will be there in 14 days of infection, and then after 14 days the antibody concentration decreases and it enters into a stationary phase. Okay, so now this is the decline, and then later for few days, for 1 month of time period, you can see the antibody will be there in the body. Now whenever your body is exposed to an antigen, the orange color one is the primary immune response. Orange color graph indicates primary immune response. During the primary immune response, the antibody which is produced is immunoglobulin M. There are 5 different classes of immunoglobulin which we'll be studying in detail in the coming classes. So here during the first exposure, primary immune response, the antibody which is produced is known as immunoglobulin M. Along with immunoglobulin M, there will be a little quantity of immunoglobulin G also. Whereas you see in this diagram, I have made one more arrow that indicates that your body is getting exposed to the same antigen for the second time. What is happening there? During that time, you can see that there is no lag period. Here you can see there is a lag period, but here there is no lag period. As soon as the antigen enters, the memory cell receptor will identify it. Memory cell differentiate into plasma and memory cell, and the clonal expansion happens, and you can see there is a peak. Okay, so much of antibody production will be there, and the decline phase, it is not that completely declining cannot be seen. So you can see here that will enter into the decline phase, but slowly the declining process happens. During the second exposure, the antibody which is produced is immunoglobulin G, and other antibodies can also be produced, but the most commonly seen is immunoglobulin G. That is why when you go for the blood test, you can identify that by looking at the antibody, whether it is IgM or IgG. In the lab, the doctors can say that whether your body got exposed to the antigen for the first time or second time. If it is for the first time, immunoglobulin M concentration will be high and very less amount of immunoglobulin G will be there. Whereas in the second exposure to the same antigen, body will produce more amount of immunoglobulin G and less amount of immunoglobulin M. Why immunoglobulin M is synthesized first, that will be studying under the immunoglobulin diversity chapter. I think all are clear with that. So first time our body is exposed to when it is exposed to an antigen, it is called as the primary immune response. Immune system has not seen the antigen till now. So the first exposure means your body has not seen that particular antigen till now. Now usually when you have innate immune response will try to eradicate the organism. They will not allow the organism to enter. If it enters into the body, the immune system get activated, acquired immune response will happen, and it takes a long time. That is what I told you. It takes 14 days of time period for the proper antibody production. The first stage is known as the lag phase, then the log phase, logarithmic phase, and then it reaches to the maximum peak in 14 days, then decline phase happens. The lag phase is also called as the latent phase, and during that period, a mechanism happens which is known as the clonal expansion. Clear? Now secondary immune response, directly as soon as the antigen enters, memory cell will identify, and there is no lag period. You can see there is a shoot up of antibody production, and immunoglobulin G is the most seen antibody during the second exposure. Now we'll see what are the difference between the primary and the secondary immune response. This is also very, very important. What are the difference between primary immune response and the secondary immune response? In the case of primary immune response, lag period is very long. Right? Here it is clearly given in the diagram. there is a very long lag period, 7 days of lag period is there. Whereas in the case of secondary immune response, no lag period, or you can say that lag period is no lag period or a very short lag period. Second one is amount of antibody. Amount of antibody in the case of primary immune response, it is less. You can see the diagram. Here the amount of antibody is less, whereas in the secondary immune response the amount of antibody is high. Don't make all these arrow and all those things, okay? You have to write low and high. Next one is what is the next one? Which antibody is produced during primary immune response? Antibody is immunoglobulin M. Whereas in the case of secondary immune response, the antibody which is formed is immunoglobulin G. Then what else is there? In this case, during the decline period, the antibody concentration is very less, whereas in the case of secondary immune response, during the decline the antibody concentration is moderate, not very low. Moderate level of antibody will be there in the decline, whereas in the case of primary immune response, it will be very less. In the case of primary immune response, antigen will be responding to the B cell, thereby B cell differentiate into plasma and the memory cells. But during the second exposure to the same antigen, what is happening? It is directly responding to the memory cell. Here and B cell, naive B cells are not involved. Here naive B cell, you remember what is naive B cell? The B cell which are not encountered with any antigen is called as the naive B cell, or freshly formed B cell which just comes out of the bone marrow is called as the naive B cell. Whereas in the second exposure, naive B cells are not involved. Instead, memory cells are involved. Memory cell receptor will directly identify the antigen. Clear? Okay, that's all about the primary and the secondary immune response. This is also a very, very important topic. In the section B part, you can expect this question, primary and the secondary immune response. One more topic is given in the syllabus, that is clonal expansion. Okay, so already I told you what is clonal expansion. Clonal expansion in the clonal selection or clonal expansion meaning, I have given the diagram. You can see here these are all B cells. B cell 1, this is B cell 2, and third is the B cell 3. We are just naming for your understanding. I am making. In your body there are many. I am just giving an example. Okay, don't write it as there are 3. There are 3 different types of B cells I have mentioned here. B cell 1, 2 and 3. Your body is B cell population. So this is a B cell population. There are many B cell population with different types of receptors. Your body is getting exposed to an antigen. So what is the shape of the antigen? That is similar to that of this receptor. So what happens? This B cell will identify the antigen. So once after identification, what happens to the B cell? B cell will undergo differentiation. What is the differentiation? They will differentiate into plasma cell and memory cell. Memory cell will have the receptor. Plasma cell are there. Then now what happens to the plasma cell? Plasma will differentiate into some more plasma cell, 2 plasma cell. Then this 2 plasma cell, again it will differentiate into 4 plasma cell. So when this differentiation is happening, plasma cell can differentiate into plasma and the memory cell. Here it can differentiate into plasma cell only. This is a chance factor. You cannot say that this will undergo differentiation into memory and plasma, this will differentiate into only plasma. Like that you cannot say. It's a chance factor. When the differentiation happens during the clonal expansion or clonal selection, some of the cells will differentiate into 2 plasma cells, some of them will differentiate into 2 memory cell, some of them will differentiate into 1 plasma and 1 memory cell. Okay, so like that you can see that the population of the B cell is increasing. Now here it is the one which is identifying the antigen, they undergo differentiation, again differentiation, again differentiation. Like that this process continues. Okay, many B cell and memory cells will be formed. This process is called as the clonal selection. Clonal selection is a process by which pathogens select a particular clone of lymphocyte. Which one was selected? The purple one. Okay, the particular clone of lymphocyte will be selected for expansion. This process is called as the clonal selection. After the clonal selection, the maturation of the cell happen. Because of this clonal selection, the maturation of B cell number 1 and B cell number 3 is not happening. Only the selection of B cell 2 happens in this particular case. Not only B cell, in the case of T cell also there is a memory cell formation. So B and T immune system eliminate the lymphocyte which recognizes the self antigen, and so whichever B cell or T cell identifies the self antigen, they will be killed by the apoptosis mechanism, and when the foreign antigen is coming inside, that will be identified by some of the B cell. Whichever B cell will identify it, they will undergo further multiplication and many copies will be formed, so that your body will get enough amount of antibodies. You remember how much antibody? 2000 antibody per second. So that many antibodies will be synthesized. So you will have a very good concentration of antibody, and your infection will be subsided. Okay, so this is what happens in the case of clonal selection. So we have finished with 3 topics today. One is memory cell, what are memory cell, how it is formed, then what is the difference between primary and secondary immune response. You have to conclude it with the difference between primary and secondary, and then we discussed about the clonal selection. Okay, please go through the topic and clear all the doubts. Thank you so much.